Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Mike and with me today is...
Hi, I'm Mr. Browniegod. I make goofy content on YouTube and TikTok at Mr. Browniegod, same thing. And I'm here with Mike.
All right, awesome. We have a question for you today. Are you sick and tired of Disney's? Because I think that there's a great movie that you might want to see if you are. People have called it the movie that is going to save the MCU. I don't know if that is true, but I'm sure that we're all going to love it. This is Mike's After Action Reviews, and this is the After Action Review for...
Deadpool.
And Wolverine. Everybody, so as always, I have my notes. We have our guest, and we are trying to keep this review under an hour today, so bear with us as we try to do that. We're going to start with the movie's production. There were three, and we do basically the main big three of whatever we do, like the main three writers, three production companies. This is all from IMDb, so any issues with any of that, take it up with IMDb. So we have Marvel Studios, which is most well known for Spider-Man No Way Home from 2021. I will say that it was more of a Sony production, is my understanding. But they also most recently did the Marvels in 2023. So then we have Maximum Effort, which is most well known for Deadpool 2 in 2018 and also recently did If in 2024. And I think that's actually Ryan Reynolds' production company. And the reason... Yeah, and if you notice that whenever Deadpool does something in the movie, they're about to start a big fight or something, he says, "Maximum effort," and then pulls out his swords or whatever he's going to do. So there's that. That's an interesting little tidbit for you guys. We also have 21 Laps Entertainment, most well known for Free Guy from 2021, and then also most recently did The Boogeyman from 2023. I would say Marvel Studios has been not doing so great. And can I just, I don't know so much about Maximum Effort other than it's Ryan Reynolds movies, basically. 21 Laps Entertainment, I don't know much about them. I know Ryan Reynolds stuff, and I know Marvel Studios. Yeah. What do you think of this movie, without spoiling anything about your actual thoughts on the movie? What do you think of this movie compared to what we've seen from Maximum Effort and Marvel Studios? And if you know anything about 21 Laps Entertainment in the past, what do you think?
I think it's kind of along with Maximum Effort, it's kind of along the lines of the Deadpool I was kind of expecting. I did hear a little tidbit about them almost not even doing this movie because Marvel was clashing with a lot of the stuff that Ryan Reynolds wanted to do. So I'm surprised.
I heard about it from Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. I heard it was Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. We don't have to get into any of the controversy, but that is some stuff that we heard. Yeah. I think that this is better than what we've been seeing from the MCU and the Marvel Studios by a mile. I mean, really, this was really good. The movie was written by Ryan Reynolds, most well known for Deadpool from 2018, as a writer. Okay, this is as a writer. And then did If in 2024, and also Rhett Reese from Deadpool 2016 and Ghosted in 2023. Paul Wernick from Deadpool in 2018 and then Ghosted in 2023. So these are people that have all worked together. They all worked on the Deadpool movies. Ryan Reynolds was the main actor for the Deadpool movies. And so you can obviously, this is a Deadpool movie. I have like it's a Deadpool movie as far as how it's written, and you have Ryan Reynolds being the character, so that's cool. It was directed by Sean Levy from Free Guy in 2021. I really liked Free Guy, and then the Adam Project. Adam Project was a smaller film, wasn't anything like super blown away, but it was a solid film. Did you see it?
Yeah. It was on Netflix, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's going to be a short. You can pick that up later. Don't worry, that's fine. What did you see, Free Guy? So I did a review of Free Guy. Yeah, I liked Free Guy. I thought it was funny. I thought it was pretty good. So it's cool. Then we have the music by Rob Simonson. He's most well known for The Whale in 2022, and then Good Grief in 2023. I saw The Whale. I did not see Good Grief. I liked The Whale, and I don't know this person by name, but I did like The Whale, and I will say that the music here I loved the music in this movie.
Very good.
A lot of times, the music either has to be amazing or you just don't remember it. And if you don't remember it, that's good. It's like amazing, you don't remember it, or it's bad. And most movies fall within the don't remember it, but this movie I definitely was like, yep, that is some good music for the movie. So, I liked it. Any thoughts on the music or anything?
I think it's good if the music can enhance the situation rather than like not really play a factor at all. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it did that here.
Yeah, I really did like this. Great production. I think great production behind this. As far as the production, I thought that they did a very good job. The writing, I think, was good. And then the music was really good, which is a huge thing. Okay, so then before we move on, guys, please remember supporting our sponsors supports the Action Pack. So check out this message from our sponsors. The Action Pack needs you. You can support Mike's After Action Reviews on our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every quarter, once we've made at least $200, we're going to be giving away 10% of our earnings from Patreon in a giveaway over on our Twitch, so go check that out as well. You can find all of the links for everything in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Do your part. Support the pack. The Action Pack. All right, excellent, guys. We're going to move into the movie's plot. So, starting off, the runtime was 2 hours and 7 minutes, and then we have the IMDb plot summary. So, Deadpool is offered a place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, as seen in Loki, but instead recruits a variant of Wolverine to save his universe from extinction. Okay, and then this is a second one that they have on IMDb. A listless Wade Wilson toils away in civilian life with his days as the morally flexible mercenary Deadpool behind him. But when his home world faces an existential threat, Wade must reluctantly suit up again with an even more reluctant Wolverine. Do you have any thoughts on the plot? You know, as far as the way the story's written, just the plot in general. What are you thinking?
I felt like the plot was a good way to like intertwine Marvel and this former Fox property together without like overly complicating it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, this is I wrote this in my notes. I think that the perfect way, and they did this in a perfect way because it's basically a self-contained story that doesn't hurt anything else in the MCU, but it's basically like, it's like Wolverine, it's like if you think of the MCU as a stage, this is Wolverine stepping out from behind, backstage, just taking a little step from behind that curtain onto the stage in the back corner. He's, it's not like he's jumping. It's not like Deadpool Wolverine are jumping in and going, and messing up the play that's going on that is the MCU. But this is just a real quick, hey, we're kind of peeking in. We're here, but it doesn't hurt anything, if that makes sense to you.
Wetting the feet a little.
Right. So now the door is open for Wolverine and Deadpool to be in the rest of the MCU, as a wider property, but they didn't make such a huge splash that people are going, wait, now it's a plot hole because this happened or messes things up. I will say, I think that the movie had a good pacing. Sometimes you run too fast in movies, and sometimes you walk too slow. This felt like we were either at a brisk pace, or at times when you needed to, we were running at a good speed when we needed to. I will say, this was a Wolverine movie. So while I said that the writing and stuff is a Deadpool movie, like as far as the character swearing and, like you've got Deadpool being like, I'm going to with your own arm and I'm going to and cut your head off, like just stuff like that, which will all be bleeped. And the only reason I'm saying things like that is just for this review because of the movie being extremely inappropriate with its words. But that's like typical funny Ryan Reynolds vulgar humor jokes. And that's actually something like the comic books, by the way, for Deadpool. But anyway, this is basically a Wolverine movie. The whole thing is similar to the Logan movie, where you're basically re-inspiring a mentally and spiritually defeated Wolverine. You're giving him a comeback. And I really enjoyed that. Basically, it's like Wolverine buddy copping. That's a buddy cop film with Deadpool. And I think that was great. I think that was great and entertaining, and you're really seeing the two actors play off of each other with the two characters. And you have like Deadpool, who's called the Merc with the Mouth, and he's just like this spastic guy. And then you have Wolverine, who basically doesn't give a and is like, look, I don't even care about being here, but I'm going to get through this, so can we just get it done already? So that's cool. Okay, so yeah, I did like that. One thing is that I think that the villain was weak plot-wise. No spoilers on the villain, but I just think that the movie was more about the situation rather than the specific villain. Without spoiling anything, just Wolverine and Deadpool get stuck in a situation where they need to deal with some things to get back home and to save the people they care about, and it's more about that rather than it is about like this specific villain. I think that they made up for that though. Like they blew past that issue with fun, comedy, and fan service. And I just want to say, I think that that fan service is great because it's giving people what they want to see. They gave people what they wanted to see, and that was awesome.
I think there's more than. I think it was more than one villain in there. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying about the main villain being weak, but I feel like there was more than one villain.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. So no spoilers. There were two villains.
Yeah.
But I still think that even to get you don't get if we never heard from these villains again, it wouldn't be a big deal because they did.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They served their purpose. We moved on. But that's what I'm saying. I didn't think the villains were bad. I just think that they were like the weakest part of the plot.
They were meh,
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. So again, guys, we're going to move on to the next section here, which is characters and acting. Before we do, check out this message from our sponsors. I love my awesome Support the Troops Stormtrooper mug. Do you know where you can get a mug just like this one, but different? Bottega Krua. Bottega Krua is an Italian born and raised artisan trained at the Academy of Fine Arts in Venice, Italy. Since 2010, Bottega Krua has offered unique handmade and hand-painted ceramics, pottery, and other artistic products. You can find these products at her Etsy store by following the link down below. She also takes custom orders, but they may take longer to ship because she has to make them after you order them. So, go check out Bottega Krua to get yourself an awesome mug just like this one or the ones you've been seeing behind me as this ad has been going on. Remember, guys, supporting our partners is supporting the pack, the Action Pack. All right, so moving on to characters and actors. We're just going to name, I try to keep it to 5, and actually there weren't even 5 that we can get into without really, we don't want to spoil anything as far as characters that are here because, I will say this is like a team-up movie with a couple of different characters and stuff being in there, and everybody's going to like that, but we're not going to spoil any of that. So I'll just go through these real quick. So we have Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds. We have Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. And we have Mr. Paradox, played by Matthew McFadden, and then Cassandra Nova, played by Emma Corrin. So we can start with Deadpool. So Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds. Previously, he was in Deadpool 2, most famous for that, and then was in If. Hugh Jackman, most well known for Les Mis from 2012, and then also most recently did The Sun in 2022. Matthew McFadden, most well known for Succession, which was a TV series from 2018 to 2023. I've never seen that. I hear it's really good. I'm not sure if it's still going. He was also in the movie that I did see, Operation Mincemeat from 2021. Very good movie. Emma Corrin is from Lady Chatterley's Lover from 2022 and then Good Grief in 2023. But she also is in The Crown, and I know her from The Crown, and it's so entertaining to me because now she's in the MCU. And Emma Corrin was young Diana in The Crown. And then old Diana in The Crown is actually the Golden Lady from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh,
yeah. And so these two actors who actually play basically the same character in the series are now in the MCU. So that's cool. I thought that was cool. Emma Corrin is a good actress. Okay, so let's get into it. So Ryan Reynolds, or just any of your thoughts on the characters and acting. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
Quick tidbit, right? That you forgot to include this character, and it's not a spoiler because he's on the trailer. Gary.
All right, so actually it's Peter. But same idea of a name, because Gary and Peter, it's kind of a name. He's played by Rob Delaney, which is interesting because my mother's maiden name is Delaney, so maybe he's related. He's most well known for Catastrophe, the TV series from 2015 to 2019, and then most recently did. He's actually in the Invincible series. He's also in Dinner with the Parents, and then a movie that he was in is Argyle, where he and that was from earlier in 2024. So yes, a very integral character in the movie,
and in our hearts.
And in our hearts. That's good. Yeah, I like that. I like the way you put that. So what are your thoughts on the characters and anything you want to point out about the acting? Try to stick to these characters we've named because we don't want to spoil anything or give anything away. Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
Well, Deadpool's Deadpool. He's very true to the character.
Yep.
Very great at being him. Like, there's nothing you can say other than that.
I said that Deadpool in true form. That's what I put. He's in his true. He's in true form here. He is. The dance moves. My wife said to me, "Make sure to mention the dance moves. They're so fun." It's really cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to really interrupt you. I just wanted to put that out.
No, that makes perfect sense. Like, I felt like he was a little bit more free, if that makes sense. Like, It didn't feel like he was like hindered down by anything. He got to play the role how he wanted to play the role. I feel like. Yeah. So he felt a bit more expressive in this one.
And it was a concern because of Disney, but it's nice to see that they did that. So.
Yeah, I felt like he was really able to take this role the most out of all three of the movies and actually make it his own.
Okay.
So that's how I feel about Deadpool.
I also just want to point out something about the character is that although it is really like a Wolverine, all of the character development really most of it is Wolverine because this is like the Wolverine movie. I will say that he does have some development in that he's trying to be a better person and a better hero. Him and Wolverine actually have some parallels here because he wants to be the better hero, be the better guy, and this is in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. But basically, some things don't work out with him being a better hero, and he almost gives up on himself, which is exactly what happens with Wolverine before the movie starts, like happened years ago. And so now Wolverine is kind of like this broken down guy, and he goes to Wolverine and he says, "Look, I need your help, and I don't know how to be a hero, but you do. And it really hits you. People say hits you in the feels, but it's like, no, it's a heartwarming thing. That's the point.
Yeah.
This is what Mike's After Action Reviews is about. Talking about this specific thing. Like, these characters are modern mythology. You want to. It used to be that people talked about Hercules and Thor and the Greek gods and all these different things because it would be about how to be a good person, what we believe is good and right. Well, I'm telling you, this is what's good and right. If you want to be the hero, if you want to be the hero of your own story and it doesn't work out for you, get up anyway. Keep going.
Yeah.
Be re-inspired. And that's what happens with Wolverine, so that's cool to see. Moving in, Wolverine. What do you think? Hugh Jackman coming back. It was so awesome to see him again.
Again, like I said earlier with Deadpool, in this, he felt like more free to actually play the character. There's cursing. I don't think he's cursed a lot in any of the other roles when he did
Just
play Wolverine.
Logan. Just Logan, and he said one. He said one swear word.
This.
Just a second. He also said, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but he also said, I'm going to cut your head off in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he said, and it was the only time he swore. It's 2 other times. In this movie, he swears a lot. I just do want to point out, because you're saying this, and it goes right along together, is that's basically the Wolverine from the comics. Wolverine doesn't swear in the comics because kids read the comics, but he is like right up to that type of person. Like, that person. That
Gritty,
person in real life. And talks like that. Okay, now imagine like a guy like that, but because of laws, he can't swear. That's what Wolverine was in the comics. And being able to see him do this. I also want to point out, Hugh Jackman did say that he would. My understanding is that he said he'll come back, first of all, for the money, obviously, but he'll come back if he can play a more comic book accurate Wolverine. And he'll keep playing the character if they keep allowing him to be a more comic book accurate Wolverine. So I'm sorry. Go on though. So whatever, you complete your thoughts here.
He just felt more free, more comically accurate in this movie, and you could tell like he was enjoying himself a little bit more than being like held down to certain standards and things like that. And a quick thing you said that I want to touch up on, right? About it being a Wolverine movie. It is a Wolverine movie. And I felt like him and Deadpool were both trying to find purpose in themselves and in the world, you know what I'm saying? So it is that. Yeah.
So something else that we haven't said yet, but basically this guy is like the Wolverine from the Logan movie and the comics. But basically, if you've seen the Logan movie, this is like the Logan movie again. Kind of, and I have some thoughts about this. One thing real quick though is that he fights more like the comics. So in the comic books, Wolverine was very aggressive. He jumped around. He was an animal. So you actually saw Wolverine, like in the old cartoon, Wolverine would like he would actually sound like that as he's fighting. Like he is an animal. And here you see in the first big fight with Wolverine, he pulls out his claws, and then he's basically getting shot at, and he puts the claws away real quick, and he gets down on all fours, and he starts running, and I was like, that's comic book Wolverine. He's an animal. So I thought that was awesome. The one thing, though, is that I know a lot of people liked the Logan movie, and I liked the Logan movie. I liked it until the end. I didn't like that in Logan, Wolverine takes the stuff, gets his powers back a little bit, gets to the final boss, and by the time he gets to the final boss, his powers have run out, and he gets killed like a little. And no, really, and I don't even know what he did. It says like, oh, he saved those kids. How did he save the kids? He showed up and got killed immediately. Like nothing happened. So
distraction.
I was hoping that Wolverine would. I don't care about him killing a bunch of guys with guns. I wanted him to show up and go, now it's my turn, and hit himself with that stuff, and he becomes the Wolverine again and fights that guy, and actually it's a big epic battle, and while he's battling, the kids run away, and then even if at the end he gets killed, like that's the end, that's fine.
That's a hero.
Yeah, and now he gets the redemption. I think that was the great thing, is that in my mind this was actually an improvement on the Wolverine movie, and he gets a redemption. Yeah, as far as the way he dies and then how they deal with his character moving forward here, I just think it was a big redemption. Yeah. Okay, so then quickly, so basically the whole movie is really about these two characters. Usually MCU movies have at least like almost maybe 4 or 5 main, are like the main character, but then like a supporting cast. Here it was basically Deadpool and Wolverine, title characters, and I love that. But let's get into just very quickly the supporting cast here and the big villain. So Mr. Paradox is played by Matthew McFadden, so he works for the TVA, and without getting into any spoilers, he's a member of the TVA, and he is a self-serving bureaucrat. His motivations, I don't think, were really set up the best here. They were kind of unclear. Some of it wasn't so convincing, but I think, and I said that before, is that I think that was okay as far as him doing certain things and presenting the problem that Deadpool and Wolverine have to deal with. I think that was okay, setting up what the bad thing is going on, because the movie's just fun and the acting and characters are really good. Any thoughts on Mr. Paradox? I'm not familiar with him from the comic books, but any thoughts on him?
So for him, like, let's call a spade a spade. This is the weakest part of the movie, and he was pretty much there to set up the plot, if we're being honest, because like he was a villain, but did he feel like a threat to you? He personally didn't feel like a threat. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why. Yeah, I don't think that he was really. So he didn't even come off. He almost was not really even a villain. Like, he kind of was, but basically he's a self-serving bureaucrat. That's why I wrote that. Yeah. I think that's a good way to sum it up, because he's not like evil and like, I want to destroy the universe and I want to hurt good people. He's just like, I'm a bureaucrat. It's just that he's a jerk, and he's willing. If you think about, like, if you see a movie or in real life, businessmen who are okay. I'm okay with hurting other people to get my promotion or get my bonus, or not have to deal with certain things at work. I'm okay with doing that. So that's basically where he was at. I wouldn't say like he is the villain, but I wouldn't say that he's like your typical bad guy.
Yeah, like looming threat kind of thing. Yeah, that's, Yeah.
And to be honest with you, they didn't actually. I think it's really important to stress, like, his motivations are really unclear. Like, you don't know why, other than him just being a jerk. You don't really understand what he's trying to get for himself in doing some of the things he's doing. Like, what is that going to do for you? I don't understand. I didn't understand that.
I understood his motivations, but like. They're like, okay, like, I understood them. I don't want to say too much because that'd be, like, spoiled territory, but yeah, like, they're very, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Very...
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, you're summing that up better.
Yeah. Proving a point kind of thing is more of the longs of his motivations, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so then on to the final... and I also want to point out, so Deadpool Wolverine, I mean, we both said, like, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, very good acting. I think the characters are done really well. I agree with you when you say, like, both of them are able to basically be free to be the characters how they want to be the characters. Mr. Paradox, Matthew McFadden, very good actor. I think that he did very well. You'll know, aside from Succession and Operation Mincemeat, he was Pride and Prejudice too. A long time ago. Yeah, he was in Pride and Prejudice. He was the main male love interest. But yeah, so moving on to the second villain, who I think is more of the threat, but also not the greatest writing for the character as far as being a villain. An interesting character, but not like this is not Thanos. It's not like a character that you get connected to and you feel anything, okay? She plays Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova is Charles Xavier's sister, and she's very powerful and crazy, and basically her whole thing is just that she's powerful and crazy, and she just wants to kill people, and she has psychic powers, and that's the whole thing. What are your thoughts?
I think it was like a deep cut. Like, there's a good amount of deep cuts into, like, comics in this movie.
Yeah.
So honestly, the character is kind of accurate to the comics. Like, that's exactly how she is in the comics. So for what she was given, that she hit the nail on the coffin. Like, she is exactly like that in the comics, and it was kind of like wow.
Yeah.
Her character was a lot for sure, but I think she played it really well. I think she played it really well and had the right amount of menace, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I will say that just the comic character is interesting, and obviously that's translated into the movie, and just the interestingness of the character in general, like with the powers that she has, they're similar to Xavier. They're psychic powers, but she has some similar abilities, but she has a few other abilities Xavier doesn't have. And then the acting, and I mean it was cool. Like it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. But we already said, like, you don't really get like super attached to her as a villain, and you think, whoa, like, oh man, okay. But otherwise, I mean, I think the acting was all done very well. Anything else you want to say about any of the actors or characters or anything? I think it was all done very well. Really great to see Hugh Jackman back.
About the actors, there's a lot of deep cuts. There's a lot of deep in the movie, so there's a lot of that's what
okay, so as we're moving on to the next section, I do just want to say, you said you're saying a lot of deep cuts. I don't think that you have to be a comic fan to like this movie. I mean, if you're an action movie fan, if you like Ryan Reynolds, if you like the MCU, if you're an action comedy, even just an action comedy fan, and aren't so much into superhero movies necessarily, this is still good. I would still say, like, no, this is still really good. It's just, like you're saying, there's a lot of stuff that people who are even mildly into the MCU are going to look at and go like, yes, that's in there, and I love that. And then comic book people are just like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah. So that's awesome. All right. Well, then, otherwise, let's move into our last section here before our final statement review scores. Before we do, so this is the miscellaneous section. Before we do that, check out this message from our sponsors.
Hi, it's Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. Oscar Mike Radio is a military and veterans podcast and show about those who serve our country and those who have served and are doing amazing things.
But you know what? Let's take more. And then they had that fantastic
managing those logistics and getting things where they need to be on time.
I mean, come on.
Want to learn more? Want to follow the show? Go to OscarMikeRadio.com or the link below. We're Oscar Mike, and we're mission in flight. Thank you.
All right, guys. So moving into the miscellaneous section. First off, I just want to say right off the bat, I have 5 points here. The first one is not for kids. Okay, not for kids.
No, not at all.
Like I think that you could get away with the last Deadpool movie if you don't mind your kids seeing swearing. You could see the first Deadpool movie with your kids because some of the references and stuff they're not going to understand anyway. But there's gore and things, and if you don't mind your kids like seeing swearing, I could see you allowing your teenagers to watch the first Deadpool movie. I wouldn't let your teenagers near this movie, like younger teens and stuff near this movie, even, because it really is for adults. It's really, I mean, it's still enjoyable. It's not like there's, it's not like it's like so much gore that it's scary or whatever. It's just, it's an action movie, and I mean, Wolverine has claws, man. What is he gonna do? When you get stabbed with 3 indestructible claws, your arms will be removed. You will bleed. Stuff like that. Okay. This was fun. I mean, this was dripping with awesome action, And comedy, the comedy was really good. It follows Deadpool, you know. And by the way, interrupt me if you have anything to say on any of my points here.
Okay.
Yeah, so the comedy was really good. Ryan Reynolds, we talked about in full form here. They have fan service, and I really love this because there's I just want to say there's all this debate sometimes about, how do you feel about fan service, and what do you and people talk about like when anime, and they have these really hot chicks in anime all the time, and what do you think of fan service when they have like Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, or they have a character come in to be in a cameo because it's just cool, even though and people get all frustrated about it. Shut up. We see Star Wars movies to watch Jedi fight. We want to see Jedi fight. And Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi fighting was so cool. We see certain types of movies to see hot chicks in different levels of undress. And when we see the hot chicks in different levels of undress, everybody loves it because that's what we came to the movie for. We see, all these things. Okay, like you see an action movie to see whether it's two women or two men, but, just two physically fit characters go at it and badass fight, and it's awesome, and that's what we go to see, so that's what we get, And in movies like this, you're going to have, my next thing is cameos. There's great amount of cameos.
Great amount.
If you've been alive for 30 years or more, the cameos are for you. They reach way back. I mean, like you saw it. Spider-Man: No Way Home was good. They reach deep into the closet that is the characters of Fox and Disney and Marvel, and they say, "Come out!" and they all come out. It's really good. There was. I just want to say there's one in particular that I was definitely not expecting. But go on. No spoilers. Go on.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and that was like something that was supposed to happen, and it just didn't work out. And so I want to say, the fan service and the cameos is just like chef's kiss to all the comic book fans that had
yes.
If you had any inkling of like one thing happening that went on in like comics and like the kind of nerd culture that it's around, it was in this movie.
Yeah, they targeted their audience. And a lot of movies and a lot of production companies don't anymore. They don't target their own audience. They targeted their own. Ryan Reynolds, I don't know who it was, but I imagine Ryan Reynolds probably said, like, look, guys, this is for the nerds, and maybe not even nerds, but this is superhero fans, this is comic book fans. We're going to get them. We're going to get them because this is it, and we're going to make $1 billion doing it, and I hope that the movie makes $1 billion. It would be so cool.
It would.
Yeah, so without spoilers, we'll just say, trust me, you want to see... see this for all the different references to different things that they bring in and stuff. It was so much fun that they did all that. And if you don't like fan service, shut up, because fan service is giving your audience what they want. The last thing, exactly. The last thing that I said though was the music. I think the music is really great. I heard a thing, like my wife told me that. So there was this one Madonna song. And it was in the trailer, and I forget the name of it, but it's that Madonna song that's in all the trailers. Check it out. But apparently they brought her in, and she actually got to see the movie ahead of time before the music was put in, and she said, this scene is a scene that you need to put the song in. This scene is a scene you need to put the song in. And she actually got to have input on where her song was played. What was the name of the song?
Is it Madonna or is it Celine Dion?
No, it's Madonna.
Oh, is it Madonna?
Yeah, they even specifically, they say in the movie, Madonna, like, because there's all the fourth wall breaks, where Deadpool talks about, like, what was the Madonna song?
I'm trying to remember it. Let me see if I can.
Deadpool. I just don't know Deadpool and Wolverine. It was Like a Prayer. Yeah.
Like a prayer. Okay.
Yeah. So they do fourth wall breaks, and even Wolverine says, Deadpool and Wolverine and Madonna are undefeatable. Like, I was like, what? He made a fourth wall break. That was so cool. So that was awesome. I really loved the music, so it deserves another mention. If there's do you have anything else you want to say about just the miscellaneous section that we haven't covered yet?
So there's the characters, the cameos, everything, and the special effects were really smooth as well.
I agree with that. I agree with that. One more thing. There's one character who you see, and you think it's going to go one way, and it goes another way, and it does this really great comedic thing, and it's just really cool. And we can't spoil it, we can't spoil it, but it was really good. Go see this movie, guys.
I think I know what you're talking about. The beginning of the movie, like towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, and awesome. So we'll move into our final statement review scores before we do check out this message from our sponsors.
My name is Stephen Russell. My co-writer, Joseph Miles Pittman, and I would like you to imagine a graphic narrative that disrupts the superhero genre's conventional boundaries. Tales of Nihilism unfolds a thought-provoking anthology with diverse story formats from succinct comic strips to multi-saga issues. But at its core, the Ballad of Philip Kirshner explores existential challenges of an ordinary man in a world inundated with superheroes. The anthology challenges prevailing hero worship narratives, diving deep into societal introspection. We invite readers to confront uncomfortable truths about our culture's obsession with saviors and question the prevailing societal structures. The series is not just a comic, but an invitation to contemplate, challenging readers to reassess their perspectives on heroism and societal norms. It's an opportunity to offer audiences a fresh, introspective take on the superhero universe, sparking conversations, reflections on the human condition. You can find the series digitally on Global Comics, or follow the links below to get your own physical issue.
All right, guys, moving into our final statement review scores, we've been doing the, after actual AAR format here. So, Mr. Browniegod, I always give my guest the opportunity if you want to. Would you like to go first? Giving me 2 or 3 sustains or 2 or 3 improves.
You go first.
I'll go first. Okay. So one thing, sustains. So this is the things that they need to keep as we move forward. Hugh Jackman, just a real quick thing everybody knows. Hugh Jackman is the Wolverine. It's really good. They do some cool stuff where we get to see, and it's in the trailers, we get to see different forms of Wolverine, and they really play with that, and it was fun. And him coming back is really cool. I was a little kid when the first X-Men movie came out. It's really cool to see him back in the saddle. It even got emotional a little bit because it's just like this character that you care so much about is back. A more comic accurate Wolverine is my second sustain here. So you have the yellow suit, you have his way of fighting, he's jumping around, he's crawling around like a monster, a big beast. He's cool, he's an animal. You got the gruff attitude, especially with the swearing. I would like, if he's in other MCU movies, he doesn't need to swear, but just really having that attitude of being basically kind of like a jerk with a heart of gold, because he is a good man. He's a hero, but he's a jerk. Almost something akin to the Punisher. That's Wolverine. He's the best at what he does. That's what he always says in the comics. And what he does is go out with 6 metal claws and kill people. So, like, what kind of character do you think you're going to get there? There's a lot of blood and gore, which, again, it's Wolverine. What is he going to do? When you cut someone with a sword as Deadpool, there's going to be blood. When you slice someone with adamantium claws, they're going to die, and it's going to be bad. Fan service, again, we kind of covered it in the miscellaneous section. Give us what we want. Disney, give us what we want. I was so frustrated with Endgame that they didn't have a rematch with the Hulk. Oh, it would have been fan service. Good! Give us what we want. Okay, and then I basically had one improve. I only really actually had one improve. I wanted a better villain. I wanted a villain that I would say to myself, they should bring this villain back because I really liked the villain, and so they should bring him back so we can see him again. And if I never saw these villains again, that would be fine. There was a couple of things that I thought that they could have done to make the villain a little better. Some other things that they could have done to make them a little more attached, make us a little bit more attached to them. And they didn't, and that was okay. I mean, it was okay, but they could have done better with that if there was ever going to be a thing that I would say to improve about this movie. So, my final statement and review score, guys, is I said it when, earlier this year that Furiosa, A Mad Max Saga was probably going to be the best just straight action movie this year. And this is probably going to be my favorite action movie, but it's not a straight action movie, it's an action comedy. So I'm going to give this one 2 thumbs way up. Excellent. Go check it out. Even if you're not like a huge superhero fan, go check it out anyway, guys. It's a really good movie. It's made really well, and it's funny, and it's got the action. And yes, it's awesome. Yes, and it was fun. And there was fan service, and they gave us what we want. And that's what you want, right? You want what you want, and you want the fun, man. I go to the movies to have fun. Oh, and there's no politics in it, too. No agenda, not even like a little remark about, oh, a woman can't do it, or, oh, I don't know. Just whatever little stupid stuff they've been putting in. None of that is in here. So, it's really fun, really great. Go check it out. And then, so Mr. Browniegod. So give us like 2 sustains. I mean, I only had 1 improve, but if you've got more, try to keep it under 3, though. Yeah. But sustains and improves.
I feel like a good sustain would be like just the heart of the film. Like everything felt like everyone cared about this movie. Does that make sense? Everyone involved felt like, how you'll go into something and you like, oh, they came in for a check. It didn't feel like that. It felt like everyone wanted to be there, and they did because it was, a good movie. And I think the references is another sustain. Like all the comic book references and all the cameos and stuff like that. I know it's not realistic to kind of have that as a sustain, but I felt like if they could do that, I would love for them to do that as much as possible.
Awesome.
And one improve I would say was I would put it kind of towards the end. It kind of felt like I get what they were doing towards the end, but it kind of felt like once it was over, it kind of just stopped. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It was paced really well, but like it concluded, and then it was just like, with not the wrap up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so kind of like
bad, I liked it.
So without spoilers, like you defeat the bad guy, and maybe they kind of have like in Endgame, in the first Avengers movie, they defeated the bad guy, and then it shows Loki being taken off, and everybody says, "And if they ever need us again, we'll be here." And the music played, and it zoomed out, and it was done. That was a really great wrap up. They didn't really have anything. I'm not trying to speak for you, but it sounds like you're saying they didn't really have something like that. They just kind of had like, "Oh, hey, we're done, so maybe we'll see you next time if you're going to be in another movie for Hugh Jackman." I guess I'll see you around. Goodbye. And that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was more towards like the wrap up with the villains is kind of focused like. Yeah, does that make more sense?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. There was no like. Yeah. Like even Thanos. Got an ending where he sat down and.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Disintegrated, and you felt something for the villain. Here you didn't. Yeah, here you didn't like have like a thing where it's like they got what they deserved, or
it was kind of like
it was just
moving
like
on.
Yeah, we beat you. Goodbye. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay, so can you give us like those are your sustains and improves? Can you give us a final review score on our scale here at Mike's Outdoors Reviews?
Okay, for everyone like just watching today. Can you give me your grading system?
Yeah, so so for everybody, watching at home, so we have 5 tiers here. Bad, below average, average, above average, and excellent. And excellent is like The Shawshank Redemption and Avengers Infinity War. And bad is, the Marvels. And then we have a reverse scale for movies that are so bad that they're good, but I don't think that this one's going to quite get there. So why don't you? Yeah, what's your final review score, buddy?
You don't think this is on the level of Sharknado? No.
Yeah, no. But what are your thoughts? And then kind of a quick kind of like summary of everything. Yeah.
I think this is excellent. Right.
There you go.
It's a great movie. It's very hard for me to give anything a 10. I don't think it's a 10. It's really close though. Yeah. It is a phenomenal movie. That the way that they played towards the actors and actresses' strengths a lot in the movie. They didn't take themselves too serious. You said earlier they weren't trying to push an agenda towards the left or the right, which is kind of hard now to find in movies. They knew what it was. It's a movie where you can watch with your friends and have a good time, and that's what they did. They made it that, and they did it to a T, I think.
Yeah.
And they knew their audience, so they were able to sprinkle in everything I think that the audience would like.
Yeah, this is awesome. Cool. Yeah, definitely the big thing, I think, is knowing your audience, too, because not just the references and maybe even cameos, that they put in there, but just the way the movie is. Like your target demographic just wants to go to the movies and have a fun time, and they made a movie that was a fun time. So, yeah. All right. So, we really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to check out Mr. Browniegod, and we want to thank you all, and just say God bless you all, and have a good day. Hey guys, so this is editing Mike now. Before I forget, I wanted to put at the end of the video, we're going to do a after action review, or I guess a rapid action review, a review of the extra stuff, the popcorn bucket, and all the special stuff you can get at the theater when you go see the movie. So make sure to go up there, click that link, and Mr. Browniegod, who is the one that actually bought all of that stuff, is going to be doing a review, and I'm going to be commenting on it and stuff. Go check that out, and we'll show you all the cool stuff that you can get, and if it's worth your while to still try to get it. Because they sell it online and stuff too. So, but otherwise, go check that one out. Again, thank you all for watching. God bless you all, and have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord, where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.